Hey everyone, little tip here I've got, what I ran into today, and haven't never experienced it before, so I thought it'd be a great little tech tip to give you. I was getting Air Fusion AP gun ready for the next training class and wanted to make sure it was inside of tip-top shape. So got it all ready, cleaned up, hooked up air to it just to ensure that everything was functioning correctly. And I noticed when I triggered the gun, I had air coming out the bottom of the muffler, at the bottom of the gun handle. And well, I hadn't changed the O-rings on the air spool valve in quite some time, so I went ahead and popped a new set of rings on the air spool valve, lubricated it up good, reinserted it into the back of the gun, and connected air back to it, triggered the gun completely, and still had air coming out the bottom of the gun handle. So I thought, well, something else is going on. So I removed the air spool valve, and here's a cutaway of the AP Fusion gun handle. And I made sure with this little cleaning brush, wanted to make sure that I had no type of debris inside of this area here that would cause a air leak. And so I cleaned it, made sure it was very good. Stuck a bore scope inside of the back just to look for scratches. Everything looked good. Put the air spool valve back in, hooked up air, still had air exhausting out, pretty good bit of air exhausting out the bottom of the gun handle. And I thought, well, not sure if it would correct it or not, but I went ahead and removed the piston out of the back of the gun, and I went ahead and replaced the piston O-ring and this O-ring in the front of the piston, just in case. Just wanted to cover them bases. And once I'd done that, put the gun back together, put the air back onto the gun. Still had air exhausting out the back or the bottom of the muffler. So I thought about it for a bit, and I thought, I wonder if it could be a problem with the trigger. So I took the trigger off of the gun handle, and I took and put the bolt and the nut, or the bolt and the screw, back onto the gun handle, and I tightened them up, and I laid the trigger onto my vise. And what I'm looking at is these two areas here, these indentions. What if they have gotten pushed forward and now I don't have the ability to trigger the gun all the way on the gun? Would that be a issue? So I took a punch, if I can hold on to it, took a punch, and I just sort of taken a 20-ounce hammer and massaged on these areas just to push them back some. Not to bend them much, just to push them back, just sort of finesse it. And once I'd done that, I put the trigger back onto my gun handle, connected air up to my gun, pulled my trigger, no more air coming out the bottom of my handle. So my whole time the problem wasn't with the O-rings, it wasn't a damaged gun handle, it was my trigger. The back end had been pushed forward just slightly enough where that the air spool valve wasn't fully engaging into its spot inside of this passageway to have an airtight seal. And so just sort of a tip there, if all else fails when you replace your air spool valves, you still have that pesky leak of air coming out of the bottom of the gun handle, check your trigger. That could be the culprit. Hope this here has been helpful to those of you out there. And if I think of anything else inside of the few days or weeks, I'll be sure to try to post something up. I do like to give tech tips because it's the little things that becomes big problems during our job of spraying foam or polyurea coating. So any little tip and advice is very good knowledge to have inside of that toolbox of tips and tricks. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.